Hello, it's Sarah Walton, founder of Soul Writing. Today we are going to look at novels. We're particularly going to look at first drafts of novels, and particularly for those people who are just beginning writing their first novel or halfway through it. And at a certain point, all of us experience, and I remember myself when I wrote my first novel, a bit of a stumbling block. We start to struggle. We're not enjoying it so much. We might be thinking, why am I doing this? Why did I start it? This is really difficult. We might have feelings of frustration, and we may start to not feel so excited about our novel. And I'd like you, if this does apply to you, if it doesn't, then this isn't the video for you. But if you are struggling with your first novel, that's completely normal. At a certain stage in the writing process of a novel, for all of us, we start to struggle. And we lose that initial sense of wonder, that excitement, the thing that got us interested, the energy that got us interested, the ping in our heart center or in our gut, the excitement that may have sparked in our mind about this novel. Now, that will be different for everyone, but what we need to get back to is that sense of wonderment. Now, if you can think back to the last time you felt that sense of wonder or curiosity or intrigue or excitement about your novel, where did you feel it in your body? Try to locate it in your body, or think back to when you first got the idea, or the idea that sparked the idea. What was that feeling like? Because you followed something, you followed your curiosity. Now, this may not apply to people who are writing a formulaic novel for Mills and Boon or something like that, or it might, I've never written one, but this is really for people who are taking an adventure into the unknown. And that's what you're all doing when you write your first draft of your first novel. You don't know exactly where it's going. You may have the end, you may have plotted out the narrative structure of your novel. However, you don't know exactly how the characters are going to perform on the page yet. You don't know the detail. You need to put that on the page. And you do that by going into the world of the novel again and again and again. And that needs to, every time we step back into it, be an experience for us as the writer filled with wonder. And if we can enjoy it, then the reader will have a better experience. Now, never forget what Hemingway said about the first draft of everything. He said the first draft of everything is shit. So that takes the pressure off, right? Okay, so take the pressure off. So tip number one is take the pressure off and step into a sense of wonder. Remind yourself why you're doing this. You really need to reconnect with your why and your wonder. So tip number two is books are written little by little, word by word. We write in chronological order. I know this is extremely obvious, but sometimes we're so excited or we're so impatient to get our draft finished that we start to get impatience with ourselves and with the process, and then the process isn't enjoyable anymore. I've just spent a few days with a first-time novelist who I've been coaching, and she's got a fantastic idea for a novel. She has had that fun period where she's really been enjoying it, and then she's hit I'm not enjoying it so much anymore, and then hit I'm really, really frustrated with this process. And that's just normal. All of us have that experience sometime, because a novel is a long journey. Most novels take people about a year, some people, if they're lucky, 6 months to draft. It's very rare that people, if they've got other things going on in their lives, can draft a novel in less than 12 months. That goes for professional writers too. If you're writing an adult novel, some shorter novels, maybe children's books, can be written quicker. If you're writing a novella, yes, you can turn that around maybe in 3 months. I have done. But a full-length novel of 80,000 words or more is probably going to take you about 12 months if you're not writing formulaically. So and you've got other things, like you've got a day job, which most of us do have. So remember, gently does it, word by word, page by page. And if you do a little very often, you're going to get this book written. But take the pressure off. Now, sometimes what happens is that you haven't written maybe for 2 months, 3 months, the book's got sidelined because you've had other important things, maybe pay the bills to focus on, or maybe there's been family things that have arisen that you've needed to give your attention to. That's normal, that's everyday life. All writers wish for this vast, creative, clear space that we can write in, and that's what retreats for writers are for, which I run, to give you that space. But not all of us can afford it. It's a big investment, and the best way that I've ever found to write a book is to do it little by little, gently, on a daily basis if we can, or at least setting some time aside every week. And if you can do that, you will notice that it starts to get written by itself. You don't notice the process so much, so you don't feel so pressurized. So again, take the pressure off. A book is written word by word, little by little. Okay, that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, believe. You are writing this book probably because you would like it published one day, which is totally normal. We want to have an audience. While you're writing your first draft, I'd advise you to not worry about your audience too much, especially if you're writing fiction. But I would pass on the best advice that I was given, one of the really important pieces of advice that I was given about believing in my book getting published. It happens that this advice was given by Bernardine Evaristo, who co-won the Booker Prize just a few weeks ago. Brilliant, well done, Bernardine. When I was interviewing her for my PhD in creative writing, and I was in the middle of writing a novel, and it was not a mainstream novel. The name of the novel is Rufus, and Bernardine gave me some wonderful advice, and she said, you have to believe. You really have to believe it's going to be published. And so I'm passing that advice on from the Booker Prize winner who co-won with Margaret Atwood, 2009 Booker, to you. That's an amazing piece of advice. I'm so grateful for it from Bernardine, because what that did was it let me just let go of doubt. I stepped into belief. And belief is a powerful thing. And if you can visualize your book getting published, visualize your launch party, go to sleep thinking about it every night, we're into the realm of the law of attraction. And I know that for some of you who prefer my technical writing tips and not my meditation, more woo-woo stuff as some people have called it, that's maybe not how you live your life. But I can assure you, positivity is definitely going to help you more than negativity. So please, if you can, every day, wake up and say, I believe. Every time you sit down to write, I believe this is going to get published. Even though it may seem like the most impossible task because all you've written is 2 or 3 chapters. Like I said, it happens little by little. If you keep writing those chapters, day by day, week by week, year by year, eventually you're going to have a full manuscript which you can do a second draft of. But first you need to get through the first one, and you need to enjoy it. So I really hope that these tips have helped you to get into a space, if you put them into practice, whereby you can start enjoying your work again. So just to recap, tip number 1 for enjoying writing your first draft of your book is be in a state of wonder. Get back into the excitement of the original idea. Tip number 2 is little by little, take the pressure off. Just enjoy it. It's a journey. You'll be a different person at the end of it. And tip number 3, believe. Okay, best of luck. If you want any support from an inner process and getting into that belief, getting into the wonder on an inner level, then please check out my meditation exercises, which will help you do exactly that at www.soulwriting.co. That's www.soulwriting.co. Have a great day. Enjoy writing.